There's a
Chingo.
photo that perfectly.
All right, let's see. Okay, so it looks like we can do this now. All right. Yeah, so what's up, everyone? Gonna test this out a little bit, see what's going on. Maybe I could fix this panel right here. Screen grab one. Window capture. Well, god dang. I wish I could make this bigger if I knew how, but still trying to figure out oh, here we go. Okay, edit transform. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, shit. Oh my God. All right. Question what? Stream help is good. What did they said? The stream's current bit rate is higher than the recommended. We recommend blah 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 blah. What? Okay, let's see. The goddamn bit rate too high? What the hell? What did it say? Do we have to bring the bit rate down? When I changed the bit rate, god damn it. So what's the deal? Oh yeah, I don't know. Look, all right, let's move on with this shit. Uh, so recently there's been this new channel that I've really been enjoying and getting into. Uh, this is a guy named Nicola, allegedly, and he has some really good info. He kind of popped up out of nowhere, started making all of this narco content, which is like a very specific niche uh, within YouTube. But this guy actually has some really good information. Like it does seem like he was either involved in that life or is very much intimately involved with someone that was or is a part of that life. So I'm just gonna play a little bit and see what you guys think.
Sums up who El Mago was. He's dressed sharp, with his arm around Al Pacino's shoulder, and in the caption he wrote, "Say hello to my little friend." The man in that photo ran the Chapitos' entire California operation. He moved tons of marijuana through tunnels under the border. He laundered millions through Lamborghinis and restaurant chains. He was the Chapitos man in Los Angeles. He was also somehow a celebrity hibachi chef with $12 million a year in revenue and photos on Instagram with Floyd Mayweather. His name was Eduardo Escobedo Chaidez. Everyone called him El Mago, the Magician, Eddie, or El Editor. On Thanksgiving morning 2023, someone shot him dead at a warehouse party in Los Angeles. He was 39. This is his story. My name is Nicola, and welcome to the Cartel Insider.
So, starts off kind of basic. A lot of shit that we or those who pay attention to this kind of stuff kind of already know. But yeah, let's dive in because honestly, I had heard about El Mago, um, specifically when, spoiler alert, his, excuse me, untimely demise back in 2023. And I do remember because I was paying a lot of attention to this kind of stuff. Um, so it was right after El Nini, who, I mean, that's a whole another different story, but it was El Mago was taken out shortly after El Nini was captured and extradited to the U.S. So let's go on.
Eddie's family came from Chacala, a small town in the mountains of Durango, Mexico. His grandmother crossed the border illegally when she was 8 months pregnant with Eddie's father. They settled in East Los Angeles, one of the toughest Mexican neighborhoods in all of California. Eddie was born in the United States. He grew up on those East LA streets, where kids learn very quickly how the world works. His full last name was Escobedo Chaidez, and the name Chaidez isn't just any name in that world. Olegario Chaidez was a compadre of Mayo Zambada and a cousin of Nacho Coronel, two of the heaviest names in the Sinaloa cartel. He was from Durango, the same state Eddie's family came from. Now, here's one of the most surprising details in this whole story. The Escobedo family also had a sporting tradition. Eddie's father briefly played professional tennis. His aunt Xochitl Escobedo was a top 300 player in the world and competed in the 1988 Olympics. His cousin Emilio Nava is also a professional tennis player. A family with athletic DNA, with talent, and Eddie took the other road. He went to Garfield High School in East LA, where he met the woman who would become his wife. His son Eddie Jr. described what his dad was like in those years.
Shit, I should have paused it a while ago, but yeah. So that in terms of information, I mean, it seems like this guy does pull up a lot of personal details that um, you would have to be in the know to actually be acquainted with, like his siblings, um, his son, or his family members being involved in, being professional athletes. I mean, uh, I don't know if a lot of that stuff is out there in the public, but I know I had never heard about that. But uh, I think it's really interesting that, you know, it does seem like, um, God damn it, hold on. Does seem like maybe he did have some other opportunities, but chose to go the other way, and it is what it is.
He wanted money in his pockets, he wanted to dress well, he worked to get it. That ambition is what led him to where he ended up. The first moment Eddie Jr. realized something didn't add up was when he was 12 years old. The family was living in Miami. One day he walked into the dining room and saw what looked like millions of dollars in cash stacked on the table. He froze. His father looked at him and told him to go to his room. He never explained anything. Years later, when Eddie was around 20, he took a trip that would change the rest of his life. He traveled to Culiacan, the capital of Sinaloa, to meet with people from the Sinaloa cartel through his Chaidez family connections. And there he met a lot of people, but the two that mattered most were El Chapo Guzman and his eldest son, Ivan Archivaldo Guzman. Eddie and Ivan were more or less the same age and clicked immediately. They shared the same taste for expensive clothes, fast cars, and the lifestyle that money can buy. From that trip on, their friendship was rock solid. What started as a friendship became a criminal partnership. Over the years, El Mago became Ivan Archibaldo's top marijuana distributor in Los Angeles, the one who made sure tons of drugs crossed the border and reached American consumers. And that's where the nickname came from. They called him El Mago, the magician, because he had the ability to make tons of marijuana disappear as if by magic. The shipments would arrive and within days they'd vanish. To understand the scale of what El Mago was running, you need concrete numbers. In October 2013, federal agents had tapped his phone and recorded him talking directly with Ivan Archibaldo about smuggling more than 5 tons of marijuana through a tunnel under the US-Mexico border. Authorities ended up seizing 2.7 tons from a courier who worked directly for him. And that was just one method. He also used speedboats launching from the Mexican coast, loaded with product. But what the government was most interested in wasn't the drugs, it was the money. Because El Mago didn't just distribute, he also laundered. He bought luxury cars in California and sent them to Culiacan, 2 Lamborghinis purchased under a fake name at a dealership in Newport Beach. One of them was a Murcielago worth $175,000, bought with cash deposits kept just under the $10,000 threshold, the limit at which banks are required to report the transaction. The Irwindale police pulled him over, driving that same Lamborghini, a McLaren worth $175,000, bought in California and shipped to Culiacan. A Nissan GTR with $50,000 in modifications that Ivan personally requested over the phone, later seized by Mexican authorities in Culiacan in 2014. Beyond the cars, he had other fronts. A hair extension business with his wife called International Hair Authority, a record label, Magic Records Corporation. And he wasn't alone in any of this. El Mago was part of a wider network of front businesses in the LA area tied to cartel money laundering. The same circle included the owner of Culichi Town, a Mexican restaurant in LA, the people behind La Carniceria, and narco corrido singer Larry Hernandez, born in...
Man, pinche Larry. Like, I had no idea until I started looking into this stuff how involved uh, Larry Hernandez was in this world. I wouldn't say necessarily involved, but was very close to a lot of the prominent figures back in the mid 2000s when he was popping off. Um, you know, very controversial guy, to say the least. But shout out to Larry.
in Los Angeles, known for running in exactly the same circles. At the time of his arrest in 2014, El Mago was living in a large house in Granada Hills, a quiet residential area in the San Fernando Valley, with a pool and a tennis court. DEA agents searched him and found a large amount of cash on him, 4 phones, and keys to 5 different cars. To understand this chapter, you first need to understand the place, the nightclub El Rodeo, Los Angeles. El Rodeo was one of those clubs where everything mixed together: cartel people, gang members, money launderers, norteño music blasting at full volume. The Mexican mafia, La M, charged the owner $5,000 a month for protection. It was the hotspot on the narco nightlife circuit of East Los Angeles. And it was there, in that club, where 2 groups who couldn't stand each other kept crossing paths: El Mago's crew, led by his cousin Andy Medrano, and the crew of Jose Luis Macias, nicknamed El Güerito. El Güerito and El Mago had known each other since they were kids. They'd grown up in the same East LA neighborhood. They both had the same ambition, El Mago's son would say years later. They were both hustlers. The problem was that their loyalties pointed in opposite directions. El Güerito's father was a high-ranking marijuana trafficker for the Arellano Felix cartel out of Tijuana, the direct rival of the Sinaloans. And that rivalry from the top filtered down to the VIP tables at El Rodeo. Tensions had been building for a while. The night of December 12, 2008 was the celebration of the Virgin of Guadalupe at Placita Olvera, in the heart of Los Angeles. Singer Roberto Tapia was performing on stage. The same Roberto Tapia who would later write a corrido about El Mago called Gente de Guzman, the same one who, according to El Mago's son, El Mago had opened a lot of doors for in LA and taken to Louis Vuitton for the first time. That night, El Mago's cousin Andy Medrano went to the concert with two friends. El Guerrito was also there with his people. They got